Waiting, and we're live, I think. Says we are. Let's see, should I change the lighting? A little more yellow. So if you're here as I'm playing with my lighting, go ahead and let me know and say hi. Moderation activity is now hidden. Oh no, show activity. Come on, YouTube. Get with the program. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm live here. Not sure who will come on because this was last minute, but I'm here and I was going to do some welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. I think I could pin this. I think I can pin the comment. I think, let's see, engage with your audience, add a reaction, so that people are going to ask, pin message. So there we go. So yeah, so I'm going to do some readings for everyone. I'm going to say straight off the bat, I prefer if you use one of my apps, the PayPal or Venmo. But if you want to use a super chat, that's fine. I don't even know if anybody's in here. I don't see anybody in here, so I could just be reading myself. I also want to do some chat on all things paranormal questions you guys might have. If you notice, I changed my channel to the House Medium. Because I'm kind of trying to fixate on more on my podcast, which is called The House Medium. If you're on here and somehow I'm not seeing the chat, which I don't think is true, then go ahead and, let me know on IG. If I'm not seeing you say hi, then tell me. But yes, so I'm doing live readings. If somebody wants to help me run it, that would be great. It's not necessary, I don't think. Hello, Lolita. But if you want to help me run the chat a bit, even just like letting people know who come in and such like that, just, help me convey messages. I kind of took a break from doing live readings because it's just been so crazy balancing. Hi, Lancel. Good night, Adele. Good night. You're going to sleep? I've been building a new podcast. I do readings, but today was kind of a chill day. You're going to sleep. Where are you? What are you in another country? Hi, Tim, Tim Tio, Lolita, Trill. Does it say Trill? Yeah. I'm kind of like this is how it works for those of you who I haven't even a good little pad. For those of you who are new, you go ahead and if you want a reading, you send the payment in and then I'll put you on the list and I will read you. And I will read everybody until I say I'm pooped and I'm going to, close the readings. But that's how it works. You let me know in the chat what type of reading. Hi from Malta. LOL, not they use this. I'm from Malta. Oh, it's 10 p.m. Okay, well, good night. In the chat, you would say, once you pay the reading, you can put in the PayPal or Venmo. I prefer because it's YouTube. So super chat's fine. It's just, YouTube taking a chunk. But if you put in the here, after you pay, you can say I want an intuitive, I want a medium reading, And in intuitive reading, you're going to ask specific questions about things you want to know. If it's relationship, job, try to be specific, meaning like I'm not doing a general read because I'm not a general reader. I like to get into details and such. Um, and then you could also put it in when you pay for it. You can say, "Hey, this is for an intuitive reading. This is for a medium reading." When it's a medium reading, you're going to pick one person you like to speak to, and you would say, like, I want to speak to my grandmother on my mother's side. You'll let me know when I call on you. And when it's your turn. In an intuitive reading, you say, hey, I want to know about this. If you want to go ahead and put it, because I had to come on YouTube Live because the other program I used to do this under, I think I might have deleted it. So yeah. So if you put it here, this is what I'm looking for, or you put it when you pay in the subject, like intuitive reading, don't worry, you can tell me what the subject is when I call upon you and such. Um, and that's how it's going to go today. Please share this, like, and subscribe if you notice, and share anybody who may be interested in getting a reading or even watching. If you notice, I changed my YouTube channel to the House Medium because I have been trying to really focus on the House Medium podcast that I'm doing and trying to build that. And I just feel like YouTube is like a big sea that is very easily to get lost in when you're just like, hey, I'm Adela, even though I've been doing a long time, I just get lost in the shuffle of this sea. So, kind of doing something that's more specific to the podcast I'm working on. Please just bear with me because I'm just trying different things that I feel are more suited to who I am and what I do. It's when I started doing this, I started reading online like way back in the day. I knew readers who were terrified to do this, wouldn't do this, and now you get on TikTok and like everybody is reading. So so it is really flooded, and I just kind of want to stay true to myself and but stay focused on what I do. If that makes sense. So, okay, so I see Lolita. Thanks, Lolita. I got you. I'm gonna put you on the list. And I got this like nice little cute, my nice little cute pad. I used to like write it in my what you call it, phone, but I rather just like write it down in this pad. Okay. Okay. So any questions while we get started? Lolita's getting a medium reading, I can see. And I'll put you first on the list. And we're just going to kind of let the list go. Hold on. And then just checking, I have checking. Oops, sorry. Yeah. I think I'm going to keep that on so I can hear it when something goes through. Okay, let's talk about all things paranormal. Let's start with aliens. Let's get a little chat. Hi, Lolita. I see you. I got you. You're on my list. Number one, I'm putting an M beside your name. But let's also get into some chat. So let's talk things paranormal. Let's start with aliens. Since my last episode on the House Medium was really to do with more alien activity. Let's get real. How many of you believe in this? And how many of you have maybe even experienced it? And if you've experienced it, you should be emailing me your experiences on thehousemedium@gmail. And I could have you on my podcast because my podcast, not only do we talk about paranormal stuff, experiences, but because of what I do, I can tell you what I see. So let's like have some fun in between readings. This is going to be like I have a very chill day, so I'm really willing to kind of, you know, be kind of chill here and kind of get going. You recently turned you on to contact after being introduced to the BCC. Just wanted to say I love your videos. Was recently turned on to your contacts. Okay. Oh, So did you hear after being introduced to the BCC? Okay, which time did they which when were you introduced? Yes, believe in it, never experienced it. At that I'm aware of. Now, the one thing about me that everyone will find is that I love interacting with people. One of the hardest things about doing stuff online and putting videos out is you don't get to interact with people very much. And not to mention, you guys are not great about talking. Now, people on my Patreon talk to me, and that's cool. That's why I love having my Patreon. It's because it's longer content, longer videos, and meditations. Which, if by the way, if you're interested, it's $5. You can join, and it opens up all those things, and you get 35% off. Oh, before we get started, let me just get this out of the way because obviously I do stuff, and this is how I maintain being able to do this work. I have classes, and I have a class, telepathic communication. It's tomorrow night actually, but I'm not having it tomorrow night, so you can catch up if you want to be a part of the telepathic communication, which is learning all things telepathic, which you might have heard on the BCC, and things, and understanding how to do it and understanding the language of telepathic communication. You can go to my website, AdelaLavine.com. And also, I just posted a class on, these are 4-week classes, meets once a week, called Warding and Protection, um, and learning how to ward and do boundaries and protection with the spirit world and people. And then tomorrow, not tomorrow, Saturday, I'm doing a one-off for those who took my Psychic 101, wanted to do like a workshop where everyone gets to read each other. I don't know. I feel like I always want to promote these things, but I always feel like I don't want to take up your time promoting it. So I'm always promoting stuff. It's just part of the thing. You got to promote the stuff and tell people stuff, but I don't ever know which is better. Posting posters, telling you guys about it, I don't know. But anyway, let's get into, let's just say this. All the things I have to offer you are on my website, AdelaLavine.com, and of course on Instagram on Adela Lavine and the House Medium. So yes, you believe it, never experienced it that I'm aware of. Okay. Anyone else had that experience? And Trill, where have you, which time did you hear me on the BCC? This latest time, or were that when they were on mine and they promoted me? I've been on there quite a few times, and I was just talking to Macmillan about it, and we kind of realized I was their first expert quote, in the paranormal guest that they ever had, which I feel pretty proud about that. Uh, so, and I also was the first time that I shared my experience with the alien world, or sorry, my experiences I've had with aliens was on their podcast. So, yeah. All right. I've been binging all the episodes, but I've watched all of your episodes on there. Okay, cool. Nice. Thank you. You sure all of them? Because I've been on there probably like 7 times or so. Okay. Any questions about like what do you guys want to discuss about the alien world? Or if you want to know some things about the afterworld, the dead, and what that world's like. I mean, what can I help you understand? What are you curious about? I have had a lot of experiences, and obviously, I'm an intuitive and a medium, and it kind of comes with the territory. When you do this kind of work, you're kind of exposed to all the things paranormal. Well, not all psychics actually enjoy all the things of the paranormal. Some of them really, really don't want anything to do with aliens. Some of them don't want anything to do with the dead, even. So, but I like all the things. Any questions in that arena? And so we have Lolita on the list. I didn't see anybody else, I don't think. I'll check so far. Yeah. So any other I'm just checking to make sure because creating a list. Although I didn't really advertise I was going to be online today till the last minute. Nothing? Nothing anyone wants to talk about? No questions? Anything about the aliens? Okay, let's put it this way. What do you believe when it comes to aliens? What would be your belief? That they are an interdimensional beings that come through like a portal or cross through time and space in that kind of way? Or are they coming on some ship, physical ship? What do you guys think? Anybody? Okay. Well, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for people to talk back to me, I think it's all the above. Thank you, Marine. What would one do in the next realm or experience what most of the time spent for us? Not there is no time. I think this is the problem is that when you come here, when we live here, we're living to um, live through the elements, meaning we're surviving here. We're trying to survive all the elements. We're trying to, eat, sleep, have some work that we're doing, right? To do those things, to pay for things, to take care of ourselves, and somehow yet still find awareness. I think the problem that people can't understand is because we're so like animals. We're productive in this place where we have to like keep doing things in order to survive. In that realm, you're not needing to do that. So there is no time. You're not like going, well, what am I going to do with my time? If you had a chance to be able to explore all the things of life and expand your mind and expand your consciousness, and you didn't need to worry about all of the things that provide you worry. Even people here with money don't have that because even the wealthiest person doesn't have that because they're going to have the fear of death. And the fear of death is the clock people are racing against. That world, you can grow, you can evolve. It's kind of like it's like an advanced city. It isn't like people think where it's like, oh, well, there's nothing to do. Hi, Adela, with pets, if there are multiple within the family, why do you believe one may act sad when another pet within that family passes? That's a really good question. And Lolita said initially that from spaceship from, but now thinking more dimensional. Okay. I think all the above too, Aquamarine. Um, because pets are animals, I should say, are have a spirit and they connect. And is there a process or stage that one goes through when existing life? Um, You mean here or there? Which is what I'd like to know from Trill. Animals are obviously feeling, loving beings, um, and they can feel, a connection to each other and to you. So they're also feeling the loss that you're feeling. So it's not that they don't love each other and have feelings for each other, but it's not the way we love, which is possessive. But animals absolutely are the true definition of empathic. So they take on also your sadness. So it's a little bit of both. This is just kind of what I've learned to understand so far. It's a little bit of both. They feel for each other and feel that loss with each other, um, and your loss. Um, e- Exiting, is there a process? There's no process. Do spirits choose to be animals before they come here? They're animal spirits. So I don't believe in reincarnation. So I don't believe we're like choosing to be born a cat or anything like that. Um, there is no process. Um, there's just no process. You die, and they always show it to me the same way. There's a door that opens, and you go through it. That's it. It's very simple, and it is completely complicated by people. It is not that complicated. We're used to any stages in life that we go through, or we're also used to anything that we want has to be all this, difficulty. Um, you just pass and you're there. It's that simple. Yeah, I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in this concept that this is the only place to learn something. To me, it's very egotistical to believe this is the only dimension to learn and live and be and grow. This is like the most barbaric one. So, there are many, many other dimensions and realms to learn and grow from, and this isn't the only one. So, animals are animals. I mean, they are an energy, not like reincarnation, but like new baby spirits before they come here. Yeah, same. That's what I'm saying. Baby spirits are people, animals are animals. I agree. I don't want to come back here. Haha. Yeah, animals are animals and people are people. We don't I feel like the problem a lot of times comes from people is we have a very self-importantness about us that we believe everything is us. Like there are many different types of beings and energies, and we're not the only ones. So baby spirits are coming here as people, and animals are an animal spirit, and they are an inner different type of energy and utilizing a different type of physical being. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna like keep talking, no problem. But let me do Lolita's reading so you can see what I do. Lolita, what who would you like me to connect you with? Lolita's familiar, so I know I don't have to explain it to her. You're gonna pick a person that you have a connection. She, her medium reading paternal uncle. So this is how I like to work. Lolita, thank you so much. She did it spot on. You ask, tell me what pronoun you like me to refer you to. Um, and even if the person who passed has a pronoun you want me to be, thank you, Lolita, to refer to them as, and tell me who specifically you like me to connect you to, right? So she's, in other words, how they're connected to you. So if it's a mom or a dad or uncle or aunt, you would say that on what side of the family, just like she did, paternal uncle. Have I talked to this paternal uncle before? And how I read is I'm going to tell you how they passed, and I'm going to give you some details and um, that you can confirm it's them. Okay, here we go, Lolita. So the person I see, Lolita, he's a lot of fun. He's like, let's get going. And he looks kind of young to have passed. Um, he kind of has this like fun kind of, I want to say, jokey. I don't know, he feels really good. It feels positive. His passing, he was aware of it, but I do get a pit in my stomach because he says it was kind of for him felt like it came out of the blue. He felt like things just happened so fast that he didn't almost feel like he didn't have a chance to catch his breath, meaning he didn't have a chance. Yes, confirmed. Thank you, Lolita. He didn't have a chance to like even realize what was happening and he was gone. However, he says he wants you to know that the connection you have to him, like the familiarity, like what's similar between you and him, he's just like this very open, free spirit, meaning like he felt like he was a lot of times trapped in his life to be and live a certain way, but he was actually this almost like open, free spirit type. Um, and this is your father's brother, right? So he's saying something about hold on. Uh Something about this month, April, May. April, May. That's what he's talking about. He's saying this month, yes, his younger brother. He's saying that this month was this time period, April, May, is something significant, which is a confirmation. And he's also saying He wanted to kind of give you advice about your family and specifically about his brother. That's your father, right? So he's saying that you have to understand that the way they were raised to kind of not connect with each other, to not be open, to not be free, and that him and his brother just it was very shut down, and he felt shut down. He felt like he didn't ever have a chance to be able to express himself or be his true self. I don't know, he struggled a lot with being accepted. Um, and his passing, he's sorry that this devastated everyone, but he had to go. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's like he's saying he had to just let go and leave. Even though this happened really fast, he wasn't scared. If he could give you anything, is to not be afraid of what's lying on the other side. This is for everyone listening. Um, However, there is some kind of feeling he keeps talking about himself, like truly in his heart being a creative person and never truly being feeling like he could be that person, that he always felt like restricted. He always felt like he had to like play the game. I don't know what this means. Do you know? Can you explain what he's talking about? The thing is to kind of help people understand how things work is that, the dead still grow, they still learn, they still evolve. So he's kind of sharing how he evolved and how he's evolving and what he's learning about himself in the afterlife. So anybody, not anybody, Lolita, do you know anything about April, May? He's talking about this is a time of gathering. This is a time he's happy. Yes, he was full of energy, creative, but he went down the line of wife and kids and regular job. Yeah, I feel like from what I'm hearing from him, is that he's just 100% trying to get you to realize not to live your life that way, to live your life free and to not follow. And something about not letting your family influence you. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of not regret, but yeah, a lot of regret of him not feeling like he lived free. And this is for everyone listening. He would like people to know that when you die, you are not measuring who you are based on any of your accomplishments, although you are proud of them. He doesn't want anyone to, he wants everyone to know this. So sorry, Lolita, but he's sharing with everyone. Um, you are, you measure to, were you paying attention to life in general? Like, were you paying attention? He passed quickly, bone cancer in his late 30s. Oh, yeah, that's how I saw him. So he says, you measure your life like, were you paying attention to that song you were listening to? Were you paying attention to the food you're eating? He says, take care of your body. And this is to you, Lolita. Take care of your body, but don't restrict enjoyment. Like, take care of yourself, but enjoy life. Enjoy. He says this is cliche, but he's saying enjoy what this life is about, which is the physical world, like eating and sleeping. And he says, don't chintz on that. You know what I mean? Don't like cheapen the life experience. Something like, I mean, and he's even talking to me. He's talking to all of us because he says the things that people do. Oh wow! I've just started all the health, physical changes, exercise, diet. What? Okay. If you listen to my podcast, I have like mic drop, mic drop. Yeah. And you know what? I'm taking his advice too because I've been on that same like journey, Lolita, for the past year. And lately I've been like, you know what? I'm not going to like n- just, deprive myself of things for the rest of my life. Like, what kind of life is that? In that realm, you don't have a physical body. So you're not eating food. You're not like, tasting things. So enjoy it. And I've been a bit focused on it a bit too much. So he's saying, take care of yourself, find a way to be healthy. And he says the best way to be healthy, exercise is good because it helps the mind and it helps the body. Meditation, breathing, and music and dancing, like things that feed the spirit. I hope that helped. And while we're waiting to see what Alita thinks of all that, we can continue our convo. And if anyone would like a reading, it's $15 for an intuitive reading. You can ask any question about anything going on, and 20 for the medium. Hey, I haven't seen you live in a minute. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of time, Terry T. It truly helped. And I would prefer if you could use PayPal or Venmo, because I don't mind Super Chat, but it is YouTube and they do take their share out of that little amount. um, so I'm kind of taking some notes, Lolita, from your uncle and from other spirits that talk to me that say, take care of yourself. Don't be afraid of taking care of yourself and asking for what you need. And I'm trying to follow that. And that is the one thing I've learned from the dead, which is we do not do this. I took notes too. Okay. And especially ladies are very bad at just asking for what you want and taking care of yourself as well. I don't have anybody on my list right now, but if you like a reading, I can put you on the list. And obviously, I've seen people who have followed me on YouTube and other things, and they're like, "Oh, I've been following you forever, blah 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 blah," but I never booked a reading. You're busy. And today's been the first day it's been chill. With my new podcast, The House Medium, I got to record myself. I got to record people. I've been teaching classes, um, and doing readings, and I have a personal, like, things I have to attend to. So I've watched your video on numerology and synchronicities. Well, not numerology, because I don't know anything about numerology, but I have numbers among other things happen, but typically just numbers repeating, mainly 111, and every other single digit repeating. Yeah, well, there's two things. I've been binging the podcast the past few weeks. What do you think, Lolita? Give it to me. Give it to me straight. Um, the thing about numbers and seeing 111 and 222, people read a lot too much into it. Those numbers are just to get your attention, to see the things syncing up. Sometimes it's to help you, remind you that you're going on the right path. And then sometimes it's just that you start noticing it because it came into your consciousness. You know what I mean? Sometimes people look for it too much, and I wouldn't put a lot of weight on it. And there's nothing for me to be observing. Do you think it's me getting in touch with spirit or baby? No, it has nothing to do with raising vibration. It has nothing to do with raising any of those things. It's just a reassurance of, it's either two things. You're on the right path. Keep going this direction. This is cool. You're fine. Things are syncing up. Or it's the opposite, warning you, get your attention. I love their interaction with the audience and the Brew Cafe. Thank you. Thank you. The Brew Cafe. Medium Brew Cafe. Get it? Medium Brew Cafe. I created a whole world on my podcast. And by the way, if you're enjoying my podcast, please leave a review. It does help. Yes. Thank you, Lolita. Oh, Lolita, the one thing you didn't confirm was April, May. Was there anything about April, May? Yeah. Okay, I see. Thank you. Yeah. So it's kind of up to you to tune in. I think the problem is that when people see signs or they get things like 111, 222, 444, or whatever, 333, then people are like, okay, that's cool. But it's up to you to kind of investigate and go, what is it that I need to look at? Am I not paying attention to something I should be in my life? Am I not paying attention enough? Like, that's like a text trying to get your attention, and then you got to go, oh, I better like pay attention. You know what I mean? So it's not just you relying, like people rely too much on like, oh, I saw this, so this is what it means, so I'm done. It's for you to kind of do a little bit of the work too. Oh, by the way, wanted to show you guys this. I showed this on my IG. Isn't this so pretty? This is my magic wand. No, it's my wand. Thinking on it. His mother, my grandmother's birthday is coming up. Oh, yes, that's it. That's the confirmation. So, whenever you get a reading or the spirit world likes to kind of show, hey, I know this person, I know what's up, I know what's going on with them. Here's a confirmation. And it will usually be like a detailed about your life. Fancy. Yes. Well, it's a wand. I mean, if you have to check out my podcast Trill and my podcast of the house medium, I have a magic wand that I make sound effects with, which I would love to find out how I can translate that to here, but YouTube is just tricky. Anything else? So just want to let you know I ended up taking up the offer for the thrombectomy position, removal of blood clots from brain, since literally everyone is telling me to just an update. Will you be having more regular lives? I don't know if it'll be regular, Terry, honestly. I have a lot I'm juggling. Yes, it's on Spotify. It's on, so just so you know, most people have podcasts. If they don't have it on most places, that's surprising. So it's on, absolutely on Spotify. It's on pretty much every platform podcasts are on. So wherever you listen to your podcasts, that's where it's at. That's so awesome, Terry. Congratulations. That's great. No, I don't think I'll be doing a ton. I will be doing them periodically, though, for sure. But I am juggling. And the thing is, I put a lot of content out there for people. I have to focus on also my private readings and classes and things to help me put out this content, content, you know. Um, I'm not an influencer. I'm not doing brand deals and things like this. I'm a reader. So what I do is how I make my living. So I love doing all the videos and the stuff I post on Instagram and TikTok and on here, but I also have to like focus on other things like my personal readings and classes and such. So between that, my podcast and posting all the things all the times in personal life, which I had said earlier, I don't have as much time. But I am looking to jump on here. I kind of want to find a way to tie all the things in, like with the podcast and everything, and being on here as well. Yes. So I just love this one. You guys, sorry. It just makes me happy. And like Lolita's uncle said, do things for yourself that make you happy. All right. Any other subject matters we need to cover? Anybody have any questions? And the list is open to sign up if you want a reading. And but any other questions about anything else? Oops, sorry. You know that sound? That's ring. Maybe I will turn the sound off. Any other questions about anything else having to do with paranormal, aliens, spirits? What else can we get to talk to? Put on some lip gloss. There you go. You know, anything else? Anything else we need to talk about? Congratulations, Terry. I'm very happy. Terry is a busy doctor. And I think that's amazing that you're doing blood clots from the brain. I mean, that is just wow. Isn't that what the actor, what's his name, is in the hospital for? He had an aneurysm. I don't know if that's true. I can't remember. Who was it? Somebody? Why can't I remember his name? This is bad. I'm not drinking coffee because I've already drank coffee on my live and I had coffee today. So I'm having water, which is also very good for you, but coffee is great. Anyway, anything else we want? You guys don't have any questions about anything? Anything you want to cover? No one else would like a reading per se? Okay. Well, um, I always feel like I guess I have some topics. Jamie Foxx. Yes, Susan. Thank you. Oh, well, how come people who are here are not speaking? Why is everybody so shy? I didn't know you were here, Susan. Um, I wrote down notes of things to talk about and I can't. Oh, I got this little sometimes I get awesome information from the dead. Um, I mean, not sometimes. Let me put this way. I get all my information and learn everything from the other side. However, sometimes I have like little sayings that they give me. And one of the sayings I got recently in a reading was fame is job security for artists. What do you guys think about that? And what the person was telling me is that not everybody wants to do something for, to be famous, but the reason why people who are artists need the fame is to make sure they can work. They can continuously, you know, make money at it. And that people who want to be famous is different. I forget why that came in. I'm not even sure if this was an intuitive reading or a medium reading, but I thought that was a really cool way of putting it. What about orbs? I had a loved one pass and I saw an orb fade in and out across my backyard a couple of years ago. Might be jumping to conclusions, but I thought it was worth mentioning. What's your take? I just got here. I'm in New York, involved in Trump trials, consuming New York. Oh, is it like crazy there right now because of that? Are you still doing readings? Just joined. Yes, TB, but I prefer if you would PayPal or Venmo rather than Super Chat, just because I've explained it is YouTube and they take their chunk. So it's a big chunk in a small amount, is what I've kind of learned to come understand about Super Chat. So orbs. Let's get back to orbs. I'm jumping all over the place. So orbs. Orbs is tricky because orbs can I don't really have an experience with spirits and orbs. It's not necessary is what I'm saying. And when it's outside especially, it's very hard to tell the difference between that and, lighting. Let's just put it this way, spirits don't need to be an orb, like just a ball of light. How do I make a payment for a reading? Um, in the description below, there's my Venmo and then there's my PayPal, which I would prefer, or Cash App. Yes, New York is crazy. Really? It's crazy? Because I asked my friend who lived there. So I would say, like, if you could explain to me a little bit more, um, what the orb looked like, it would help. If you get a message from someone who has passed away, for example, they are a mom of a friend of yours, do you reach out to that friend and let them know their message? No. You don't tell people things unless they ask you because not everybody's interested. And it's touchy because it's like invasive, meaning it's very personal, obviously, to lose someone and very emotional. So if you're reaching out to someone, oh, I got a message, and they didn't ask you about it. One, people can feel like, well, why didn't they talk to me? It's a very touchy thing. So here's the bottom line rule. You never tell anybody anything unless they ask you, or unless they kind of said to you, hey, if anybody ever reaches out to you on the other side, let me know. You know what I mean? Okay. Um, got something from someone. Why am I not getting? What's happening? Why am I not getting? Am I like in the wrong? This is weird. I'm not getting messages from my. Okay, so I got you, but somebody bought a reading, but it didn't pop up with a name. Oh, TB. It's so weird. What's up, man? I'm telling you, okay, just by the way, the energy's been a little bit. I don't think it's for everyone. I think it just may be me, to be honest. This is why I didn't put in my energy climate today that there was anything crazy, but it's been like a roller coaster ride. It has been a roller coaster ride today of like ups and downs. So that's thing I could true. Thank you. I need that confirmation. Um, yeah. So yeah, you don't. It's a hard fast rule. You don't tell people things unless they ask. I got you, Tanaya. What's up, Tanaya? Don't think I forgot about your episode because I had you on the readers room episode. I have you on my board, by the way. It's right here on this board that I have all my. You can't see it, but I list my podcast episodes. You will definitely be on there, but so stay tuned. Okay, are there? Yes, it's crazy. Is it like crazy in New York? New York, great. I was wondering what happened. Yeah, I should try to kind of warn people that when you come on my podcast, I can't. I don't always have a clear picture of when it's going to be on. Just stay tuned, and I'm trying to be better. Like, hey, coming up. That's why I haven't been live because juggling all these things has been kind of overwhelming. Like posting things and recording things about like, here's what's coming up, guys. Oh, and here's the podcast, guy. You know what I mean? It's a lot. So don't worry. Are there gardens in the cemetery? No, there's no guardians in the cemetery. I got you, Gwen. There's no guardians in the cemetery. There's no need for guardians in the cemetery. Um, so there, I don't really know what that means. Was that you, Terry? Because I got something that said Gwen. Why is my like, am I just not getting like this is really weird. This is how my day has been, everyone. But the energy is very like up and down. Oh, okay. Got you, Miss Hello Kitty. Okay, just wanted to make sure because Terry's going LOL, so I didn't know what that. There's no guardians in the cemetery because there's no need. No one cares about cemeteries who die. Here's a clue. We care about cemeteries because that's where we go. I donated USD 30. When do you mean you did that? Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Did you what does that mean? You don't want a reading? Thank you. That was very that was very sweet. For 2 questions. Okay. Figured. I got you down. Okay, got you down. Okay, we're getting people going, so this is so much. You know what? Did you guys remember writing? It's kind of quicker than typing in my phone. Remember pens and writing? A little quicker than it's possible. Yes, it's possible. Totally possible. Thank you. For anybody who's joining, if you would like a reading, I have it pinned up there and in the description of how to pay for the reading. I prefer PayPal and Venmo because Super Chat, although it's convenient, awesome, YouTube takes their chunk, and it's kind of a big chunk for a little bit, a little bit of what that I'm charging, if that makes sense. So I appreciate you understanding, or Cash App. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify the guardian thing, and then I'm going to do Tanaya's reading. So the guardian thing, people people here, cemeteries are important to us, and we kind of are afraid, and we have all the things that we feel about that, but it's not really a thing for people who died. Meaning, like, people who died, they don't really care that much about cemeteries because they are a spirit and they can cross through time and space. So they are only talking to you in the cemetery because you're open to it and you're open to anything paranormal, anything mystical. And so when you go to a cemetery, you're kind of in that mindset. So this is why you tend to see things more in a cemetery. But it is not because they care that much. Okay. All right. Let's get to oh, now I get a notification from Tanaya. Like, now I do. You're behind PayPal. Okay. Tanaya. Terry is like, I have questions, ma'am. We have questions. He's the doctor. Okay, Tanaya, what's your question? Tanaya's doing an intuitive reading. I got you here. What is your question? Why did I put L for intuitive reading? Am I okay? Because I'm putting codes. What would L mean? I don't know, Adela. Okay. Well, I went down the line trying to explain the orb. The house next door was and was and is still unoccupied, so there was no lights coming from the yard through the fence. It was dusk and it floated 5. Well, if you ever have health questions, you can email me anytime. Oh, thank you. Well, I had a nail thing, but it took care. I know what that question is, and it wasn't a big deal. Most bright, I look to be right in the middle of my yard. Hmm. It's usually not spirits. Accepted a new position, you know my struggle. Can they offer me guidance as a, you remember, it's not a they. She always thinks it's a they. You know, when I do an intuitive readings, I'm connecting, I'm able to see. Like when you're psychic, you're seeing, you're not talking today. Just I always have to correct Tanai on this because I don't want other people to think that's what I'm doing because I'm not. I'm able to look and see what's going on. Um, Move to the next chapter. Don't want to make the same mistakes. What do you mean you don't want to make the same mistakes? Now I know about this situation, so I need to be clear from you. I'm wondering, is this like a sorry, I got distracted. Like, is this real a real stone or is this um what do you mean you don't want to make the same mistake? Okay, so you're accepted a new position, you know my struggle. Can they offer me I don't understand what the struggle is. Nothing has changed, Tanaya. I know you got this new position, and my feeling is it hasn't changed the dynamic with the staff. Are you having an issue with the staff? Because I thought you were asking about taking the position, or are you having an issue with the staff and you need help with that? Because that's a whole nother thing. No. Okay. So you're worried already about having a problem that isn't a problem. Okay. Here's my feeling. When I see the staff, they are the type of people that have been there a long time. They get along. They kind of created like a family in a sense, want to have a position, positive experience in a job. And how you have a positive experience is to not go looking for problems. They are not about drama. They don't like drama. And you have to drop your guard a bit. The defensiveness that you have can be very off putting to these people. What I mean by that is you can't go in with like your dukes up, meaning like protecting, like, like you're in a boxing ring and you're trying to protect your face. You have to go in with the more open hearted. I did tell you this in a private reading, right? And it hasn't changed. These are very, very open hearted people who are kind of almost like protective of each other. Dukes up, ma'am. And are they don't like drama and they don't kind of embrace that sort of thing. So what I would say that I see, I always have a good feeling about this, Tanaya. I always feel good about this experience. The only thing that will ruin this experience is if you go in kind of looking for something negative. Oh, other thing. For some reason, I felt like I should show this to you, and I forgot to take the price tag. This person made this, but this is very fitting for you, Tanaya. And this is a dragonfly. And does anybody know what dragonflies spiritually? Isn't this pretty? Smoky quartz wings. By the way, this is for grounding and such. But does anyone know what dragonflies represent or symbolic of, spiritually speaking? Do you, Tanaya? Because I kind of felt drawn to show this one to you. Isn't it pretty? I got it at a farmer's market. You should go to the farmer's market in NoHo. She's local, so I know she knows what's up. But does anybody know what that represents? I feel like I should move it where people can see it. Can you even see how pretty it is? I'm definitely curious. Self-awareness. And don't look it up. Don't cheat. Don't look it up. Don't Google it, children. Don't Google it. Okay, I'm going to tell you. I got a note. I'm checking. If you see me checking my phone, it's because I'm checking on you guys to see if anyone is waiting for a reading. Self-awareness, transformation. It is transformation. Like whenever you see a dragonfly, it's not just transformation, but it's the idea of moving from one thing to the next. In Tanaya's case, it's like moving into a new path. And when you're moving into a new path, you need to like transform. You can't just drag the same old person to your new path, right? So transformation would mean you moving into a new awareness and a new path. So beyond cool and hoping to move soon. You're hoping, oh, right. I understand. Okay. So let's get to, does that help, Tanaya? I think, in other words, and we're going to move to Gwen's reading. And after Gwen, it will be Terry. And I'm constantly looking. And if I don't see someone who's got a reading, then let me know. Waiting on paperwork. To move, you're talking about moving in new positions, in the new position, right? Okay, so thank you. So don't fret. I know sometimes, and this is the case with Tanaya, when you have gone through life and you've had to fight to get where you need to go, you've had to fight and struggle for things, meaning like you have been misunderstood, transfer. Okay. And you feel like you've been misunderstood and not, really um things haven't come easy. It when something positive is coming on, it definitely is hard. It's hard to trust it, and I feel like that's kind of where you are right now, Tanaya, that you're just having a hard time trusting this, which is understandable, and I understand, but you don't want to fulfill the negativity with the fear. So there's a difference between fear and sight, like fear and the knowing, like your intuition and your knowing here and your knowing here. Fear is you kind of creating what could happen. And it's hard. It's hard for everyone, including me. Absolutely hard because we're having this human experience, which is limited by time and space, along with the spirit of us, which is like, hey, everything will be okay, trust things, feel good. And that's that part of us that wants to like give into it. But your human side's like, can I? And it's totally understandable. And you let the two of them work together, meaning let your spirit you know, believe in those things and also listen to your human side. They too can work together. So that was what I would say going forward on this new journey is to let the two sides of you work together. Don't live in the fear, and also don't, not listen to your intuition and senses about people and your mind. Okay, so let's go to Gwen is getting a medium reading. All right, Gwen, what can I help you with? So you're going to tell me what who you would like me to connect you with by your relationship. So you would say like my grandmother, my mother's side, a best friend, a lover, and also let me know what pronoun you'd like me to refer you to, and we will do Gwen's reading. Been burned several times, but I want to approach it right. I totally get you. I get it. I get it. I get it. What's your experience with spell castings? Do you believe they work? Um, I do castings. Your father? Okay. Um, I'm going to answer this question real quick, Gwen. I do spell work, but I do it in my own way. They do work. That is kind of, by the way, plugging my latest class, which is, how to ward and protect and everything. We'll be learning how to make magic candles or spell candles or intention candles, whatever word you want to use, and things like this. And I do believe that, but honestly, out of all the tools and the things that you learn to use to make to utilize energy, to manipulate energy, which was what spell casting is, it has to come even love spells, eyes whining. Nah, this is a class about warding and protecting. I don't believe I'm not a spell. I don't asking for a friend. I don't do spells on love. I don't believe in let's put it this way. If you're going to do spells for love, then you learn to create a candle or do a spell to open yourself up and to bring something in. But you can't not do the work, meaning like if you're not having love and things aren't going, you also have to look at yourself. I don't believe in manipulating people like puppets. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. I don't believe in forcing someone to love you or making a spell to make it happen. You do have to kind of look at yourself and what's going on, because otherwise a spell like that will backfire. All right, let's get to Gwen now. Well, come take the class, Tanaya. You have yet to take one of my classes. You can take it. It meets once a week for 4 weeks, and that's it. It'll be like an hour. It's going to be shorter than my other classes, like an hour, 15 minutes, because it's going to be a pretty straightforward class. Yeah, I think lots of people would want that, honestly. Lots of people would want that, honestly. Yeah, the class is up. I mean, it's here. I don't know how to share things. What is this? Engage with your audience. Start a Q&A. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, I don't know how to do all the things on here, and I'm afraid of touching anything. But if you go to AdelaLavine.com, the class is up and you guys can join. And by the way, you don't have to come live for this is for Terry if he was interested, because he's across seas. You can come, you can watch the video later. So some people come to all of them live, some people come to one and watch the videos. Everyone gets a video sent to them after the class is done. Okay, let's get to Gwen. Sorry, Gwen. I apologize. Father. Ooh, Gwen. First thing I felt was kind of like a very, I want to say like a stern energy, not mean or difficult, but more like, he kind of comes in like, all right, let's do this. He says that he knew that he was going to pass. However, he felt like he was kind of, I don't know how to explain it. He calls it like somersaulting into it, meaning he says the way it felt for him was kind of like you trip over something and you're there. He didn't feel quite prepared for it to happen in this way. It's almost like he was taken by surprise. And the way he's describing is like, I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew there was things that were not right. I knew I wasn't feeling good. Things are physically weren't well, but whoa, he didn't expect to like kind of take a stumble like that and then be gone. Like he literally feels like he just would took this like crazy turn in life and left this world. He's very he wants to say that he did not expect when you die that you're so self-aware and okay, he had dementia. Okay, that makes sense because that's how I feel like when I'm him. I feel like I'm like, what wait, I know something was off, but so I think for him, it took him a minute to realize between the dementia, which is being between the worlds. When people have dementia, they're between the worlds, they're between this world and that and the next. And then the final, what he calls the final curtain. He says he wants to thank everyone for the lights, the candle. What is that called when you have like kind of like a memorial or like I don't know, he keeps showing me all these candles lit. So maybe it's you that's doing this, but he says thank you for the dedication and the kind of almost like ritual, I guess, in a sense, because he's saying that, he appreciates this. Yes. Okay. Explain the yes, by the way. He also says that he kinda wanted to things to kinda wrap up, but he was kinda confused. He was definitely religious in his younger years, and death to him was very, like, I did a candle for him, okay. He definitely was religious in the sense that he believed in, like, a heaven and a hell, and he didn't expect death to be, like, so carefree and open and people are loving, and he says, he really feels like he blew it by living so strictly. So his advice to you and to everyone is similar to the uncle we heard from, which is, you know, be more embracing the joys of life and not living your life so strictly. Anyway, getting back to the subject at hand, he says something about hold on. Barbecuing. I don't know why, but all of a sudden he's showing me barbecue sauce and barbecuing and eating it and almost like a family gathering that he says is coming up. Coming up. He's not saying the month. He's saying something about he wishes he was here for. I know this sounds kind of cliche, but there's something about the 4th of July or something. I don't know if your family's big into this. He says he apologizes for constantly being critical. And that what's funny is you said father, but I keep getting like a grandfather vibe from him because he's talking about being a grandfather. His service is soon. Oh, his service is soon. Okay. Um, are you guys doing like an outdoor thing? Because it seems like like the vibe I got was like he kept showing me like everyone gathering, having a barbecue, having a beer, like that's what he wants. And he keeps talking about being a grandfather. Do you have kids? This is when I'm like, what's happening? Or is he delivering a message to me? Ooh, I just got like chills too. Again, if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I'm checking to make sure I didn't miss anyone. He wanted to do a barbecue. Yes, he's a grandpa. Okay. Um, he's saying that as far as being a grandfather, he wants to say this. He felt that he was a better grandfather and that he wants to apologize since he passed. He realizes that he did not embrace and enjoy fatherhood enough, that for him it was extremely stressful, and he wants to reveal something to you today. Nothing crazy, Gwen, by the way. He said, I just want to share with you what I've learned. And what I've learned is that since he passed, that because he was so stressed about being a father and it scared him and all the things, that he apologized for being so strict and kind of raising everyone in that kind of tone. Anyway, being a grandfather, was one of his greatest joys. And I see a very different person as a grandfather, which is often the case. And at his service, he wants you to know that you will know it's him, something to do with fire. I don't know what that's to do. Like when you're at like a fire pit or something. And also he's talking about because he keeps showing me the outside and saying that he hopes everyone enjoys themselves outside, something about outside and birds flying by. Anyway, he is not upset about where he's at. He's not upset that he passed. He says it was about damn time because he was just kind of floating in the in between for too long. I hope this helps and I hope this made sense. And before we move on to Terry's two questions, people can still sign up. I'm writing down my list because writing down my list is so much easier than typing it in my phone, by the way. So let's wait for Gwen to hopefully, you know, confirm some of the things. She's the real deal, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Aw, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Okay, so these lives aren't that often, honestly. No, they aren't that often. I don't do them that often because, since especially, yes, I did. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That brings closures. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. If you want to notice, the time is 111. I just saw. See, this is a perfect example. I have seen those numbers too. Who was talking about those numbers? Where'd she go? I know. I think it was Trill. And thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen. Um, Whenever I see the numbers for myself, the 111, 222, 333, and I've been seeing them a lot in the past few days, it's because I know there's things I'm like doing and things are going on in my life. And I know it's that world going like, just breathe, Adela, calm down. That's pretty, for at least at this moment in time, that's what it feels like. And yeah, I haven't been doing lives often because I'm doing my podcast where I'm having people on and I'm telling them what I see. So that's a lot of kind of, giving readings per se, in a sense, because people are sending in their paranormal experiences and then I tell them what I see and all that jazz. Plus, I'm doing, oh, did someone come through here? Jessica? Okay, Jessica, I'm putting you on the list. Um, and then doing my videos and then doing Instagram. It's like I'm putting out so much stuff that, it's hard to just continuously be doing this stuff. Jessica Ledoux, I just sent you a Venmo payment. Thank you. So appreciate it for everybody coming in. If you like a reading, I prefer, and I probably should have changed it, maybe put it in the description, but I prefer if you can Venmo me or PayPal because I'm sure you guys all know organizations like YouTube, when you do it in Super Chat, they take a pretty big chunk out of the small little amount. So it'd be grateful if you don't go through Super Chat, but if you need to, it's not like a big deal. Okay, so let's get to Terry's questions. Any questions before we get to Terry? Any like in between chitty chat you guys want to hear or know about the paranormal world, about the dead, about the alien world? Where's my alien? Where's my alien? Alien world. No one else want to ask more about the love spells just for my friend, okay? No one. I'm nervous, but I'm really drawn to getting a reading with you. That's awesome. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. You'll be totally fine. I don't bite. I just bring in aliens. Love spells. Okay. Love spells is the way I ever do love spells is through candle magic, which I will be teaching candle magic in this course I'm teaching about protection and boundaries and things, um, and warding, but meaning like I will teach how to do candle magic. And then if you want to fill in the love part, you can. I don't sell those things anymore. I don't sell candles. It's just too much. It's candles are huge, pain in the ass to ship and things like this. So I just don't do that myself. And I'm not going to do a spell and put it on my altar. I don't do things like that either. What I like to do with the work I do is teach you how to do it for yourself. And I will sell like some of the tools, like I'm working on making an oil and things like this. And that's something I'm excited to do. So I hope that does it answer you, Terry, or is there anything you want to know for a friend? Okay. What's the most memorable experience you've had with an alien? What really left you saying, wow, that was cool? All of them. But the most one was probably the most recent one, which was me. I was half asleep. I saw one standing on the side. They do not look like the almond shaped eyes, like people say. They're kind of more round, almost like buggy in a way, like not buggy, but like more round. And a kind of a bobble head, but they sway. They always sway for me. They always move like this. Anyway, and I felt like I could see them smiling, and I feel like that's more telepathic, which is how telepathic communication works. And it was like probably literal. And then I just remember feeling like really warm and like I knew this being, and I like they were like a brother in a way. And all of a sudden it felt like the wall opened up and I went into it, but I really feel like I went into this other realm that was very calm and peaceful and wonderful and loving. Um, it's a long story, and I have it on my YouTube, and I've said it on the Bigfoot Collectors Club, and I think I definitely have said it on my YouTube, and I will on my Instagram. Would you ever do one-on-one mentoring with mediumship intuitive growth? Yes, Nika. And especially because I know you, Nika. If you message me, we can talk about it. By the way, hi. Yes, I was like, hi. Thanks for popping in. Are you coming to the psychic play date or to the other class? I don't know if you're going to come to that class. I don't know if that's the class you want to come to, warding and protection class. But I hope you come sign up for the psychic play date, because it would be fun to see what you've been up to and what you can do. Hi Nika, hi Nika, hi Nika. Okay. Nika's taken several of my classes. Message me email me, and we'll talk. Like, are aliens also like a spiritual being, have an earthly experience like how humans in our human shells, so to speak? Yeah, because they are physical. I want to, but we are on a budget. Oh, totally get that. 100% get that. Yeah. What was I going to say? I believe aliens are interdimensional, and the one that I saw was interdimensional. Um, But I do believe there are physical alien beings, and the physical ones are in a physical body, but it's just a very different physical body. Very, very different than ours. So I would say yes and no, meaning like there are some that are and some that aren't. Um, but I have the full story of that one, and that one stuck with me for days, because the reason is that when I went into this place, I can't explain it. It felt like being in the womb, I would imagine feels, because um, I didn't feel any of the harshness of this world. I didn't feel the pain and the struggle and almost the unsafety. It felt like that feeling when you're like, oh, finally I can just breathe. I know I'm safe. I know everything is safe, times a million. And after I came back from it, it all came rushing to me how harsh it is here, how harsh it is. So that's the best way I could describe it. Okay. So let's get to um, Terry's reading. Go for it, Terry. Lay down the two questions you would like. Lots of people bad mouthing and rumor spreading behind my back. Very high school drama pettiness. Can we all just get along? What's up with that? And is it temporary? Okay. Wow. Sorry you're going through that. And why do people have to be so difficult? Okay. Um, let me take a look. This is the feeling I first get from you, and this is what I've gotten from you in the past. That there's like a strong jealousy with you, Terry, because you're really good and quick at what you do, and you're really on top of it, and you're able to do it so well. There's an immense amount of jealousy. So, my feeling is that a lot of what you're experiencing is people who kind of see you as a threat and pretty much want to do anything to kind of stop that threat. That's the best way I could describe it. So I feel like there's a lot of sabotaging going on around you, like you said, but it's more because they see how the people who are, quote, in charge see you and your potential. So there's a lot of jealousy going on with it. Will it stop? Um, You can't get along with everyone, Terry. You just have to accept the fact that you are in this position. You naturally have this gift of the mind, and you're brilliant, and you have a hard time admitting that. And you have to just say that's what's going on, and people are going to be jealous of that, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So stop trying to be everyone's friend and just buckle down and do what you need to do. You will meet people who are like-minded, who kind of, match your energy and who you are. But I feel like what you're trying to do is shrink yourself in order to make everyone comfortable, and it's not going to work. The best way to handle people like that is to own completely 100%, allow the ego in a healthy way, meaning like you don't want to be a jerk, but allow the ego to be okay. You're right. When that happened, literally the first person who messaged me is one of the superiors, and he was like, "I've had this done to me as well." So you're on point about that. Yeah, it's going to be a part of your life. So a part of you has to kind of accept it and go, "This is really not my problem," and move on. So, yeah, it's a good thing in a way. It means you're doing something. You're doing something right. Can I just be a jerk for a bit, though? um, You can be a jerk if that gets you to the place of boundaries. Remember we were talking about boundaries? And putting that up around you and making sure you're protecting yourself. Let your stars shine. Hate is gonna hate, right? It's kind of the unfortunate, right? To answer TB's question while Terry works on giving me, go ahead and throw up your second question, Terry T. I agree, but the haters get to be too much sometimes. You can't listen, everyone. Let me give you a little something from somebody who's been not only in the public eye for a long time, but is in the public eye for doing something that is completely considered weird, bizarre, you know, not accepted, especially here in the United States. If you care about what people think about you, if you want people to like you will never continue to go in the direction you want to go. If you come from a place of wanting to be respected, that's different. You have to demand respect. Do not try to be liked. If you try to be liked by big groups of people, as soon as you do something they don't like, they drop you. People who respect you don't. Yes, how do you adjust to the tax rate? I just told you. That's how. Always say, listen, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like me. You don't even have to look at me. You can think all the things you want about me, but you're going to respect me. So you can respectfully decline me. You can respectfully say, I don't agree with you. You can respectfully not believe in anything I'm saying or doing. Um, don't go for people liking you, everyone. If you go for people liking you, you're going to always get stuck. And that's what I would say, especially to you, Terry. And then TB, what you asked, are people more harsh? Is anyone in here? Why does my thing keep saying, like, now it's down to like zero? Like it shows me people and then it'll be like 0, 1, 5, 10, 12. And I don't know, it's all over the place. Um, Hi Lolita. Okay, cool. But to answer Tanaya's question, are people more harsh after COVID? They're not more harsh after COVID. Everybody has been this way. People are more blunt after COVID, meaning people are not feeling like they have to. Um, People just showed their true colors, everybody, and people tend to show their true colors. There's one thing I learned when my aunt, who raised me, who I call my mother, when she got sick of leukemia and she was dying, I learned this at 18. I learned that people um, show who they are at times that are difficult. I learned that way back when, and it hasn't changed. Do you take questions like, how does someone feel about me? Making sure first, because I know a lot of readers are sick of these. Yes, I do take these questions because I can remote view and actually see what's going on with someone. A lot of readers don't like them because if they're not right, it's easy to be called out for being wrong. Does that make sense? So in other words, if they're saying, yes, they're into you, no, they're not into you, and you go and find out like, well, you're crazy if they just profess their love to me, or vice versa. Oh, you know what I mean? But I'm a little more detailed than that. So yeah, sure. Go ahead, fire away. Let me know. And then after Terry, no, I don't need any name. Just friend, foe, what pronoun? After Terry, Jessica, you're up. You're up. If you like a reading, go ahead and you can pick an intuitive reading or medium reading. If you Venmo me or PayPal, I appreciate it much more than Super Chat, because Super Chat's a little pricey in their fees here on PayPal. And I will go ahead and do the reading for you. I'll put you on the list and we'll get you going. Also, of course, I give full readings, AdelaLavine.com, private readings. I have classes up. I have all the things up on there that you might need. My podcast, The House Medium, which is here on my channel, you can see. And that's all my promos. So there's a guy, of course, surname Hung. I hope it's literal. Okay, Terry. Okay. How does he feel? Sorry. Took my breath away now. I'm just joking. How does he feel about me? He's kind of like a senior, but he's the younger ones, and I kind of feel a thing. But maybe it's just the loneliness talking. Oh, Terry. I miss this, Terry. I do have an Instagram. I do have other things that you can talk to me through, because this is awesome. Terry's awesome. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this guy. I'm not going to look at the other thing, Terry. Just to be clear, you presented his name, and I will speak about who he is, but not the other thing that his name is implying. Okay, so I, I don't do that. Sorry. Um, Let me take a look at him. Let me take a look at him. um, this is like going to sound really cool. I hope you take it cool, because I think it's cool. When I see him speaking of respect, I feel like he actually really respects you and is very kind of intrigued by your ability or your intellect. because I feel the first thing I saw is that he's like very attracted to your intellect. And so he is attracted to you and there is an interest. Um, but it kind of feels like he's looking at you from afar because he can't really get a read on you, meaning like he's not sure if the feeling is mutual. And I don't feel like he's the type who would start it. In other words, what I immediately see about him is that he's like kind of geeky and kind of nerdy. So he's kind of like, you know, would try to kind of like start a conversation in that kind of way, try to kind of like get you talking, yes, geeky and nerdy. So he's like, his way of flirting would be in a geeky, nerdy way. He's definitely interested, always books in his hand. So it kind of takes you to go like, oh, what's that book you're reading? Or, oh, have you seen whatever Dr. Nerdy speak you speak? Well, I'm literally a message away. Um, yeah, doesn't work that way. This is a shy guy. This is not a guy who's got game or anything. So it doesn't matter. Is my cat in here? Oh, I thought I heard my cat. Weird. Yeah, this is a shy guy. So he's not gonna message you. He needs like a sign. Great. So I need to make the move. Yeah, you need to make a move like in a way that speaks his flirty language, which is like, what's that book you're reading? Or whatever nerdy doctor talk you talk, stuff like that to kind of show that you're interested in him. You got to kind of be a little more bold about it, but not too bold. So, what I mean by that is you guys have stuff in common and talking about it and then kind of working in like, oh, if you want to like hang out and talk about this more or something like that. Because for him, he's very nervous about being rejected. Well, that's kind of cool. Right. He's kind of nervous about being rejected, meaning like he doesn't want to look like he's presumptuous to something. So if it starts off as something very friendly and um, tame, he'll be more down with that. Like you can't come in hot and heavy, Terry. Can't be like going, "Oh, this is your name. Does that mean anything?" So no pick up on the other stuffs. I don't read the other stuffs. Physically? Sorry, Terry. This is a PG reading. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. All right. So, no, I mean, is he a good guy? Oh, yeah, yes. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I didn't make that clear. Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's pretty easy. He's actually pretty simple. What he likes in life is very, very simple. He doesn't need a lot of complication. So he doesn't need things to be complicated. So yeah, he absolutely feels like a good guy. Absolutely feels positive. He's cute, honestly. So that's a plus. I feel like he's the kind of person. What you see is what you get. There's no hidden agenda. It's not going to like suddenly one day he's one person and he presents and then another person pops out. He's actually a really good-hearted person. Um, but he's operates from his mind a lot. We'll send you a photo if something happens. Huh? Nothing PG. Okay. Um, yeah, he's kind of in his mind a lot. He kind of gets caught in his head a lot. So he's not really good with emotions. And that's just really the main thing why it's hard to pick up on how he feels. Okay. You're up. And I guess I don't know if there's anyone else, interested. Yes, he's very intellect and logical for sure. You're spot on as always. Thank you. Guys, if you haven't gotten a reading yet, thank you, Terry. And Terry, I am proud to say, I've also read a private reading, meaning like he trusted me enough to read him also in a private reading. And I think it helped. I hope it helped. Okay, is Jessica still here? Jessica, is this mic? Can you tell if my mic is? Can you tell the difference between here, here, here? Thank you. I'd like to hear from my father. Okay. All right. So here we go. Your father. This is interesting. So this is a thing I feel, Jessica. The first thing I felt and what I saw was actually a very sensitive soul. Like he felt very sensitive, and his passing, well, he feels like it was kind of emotionally painful to his passing. He feels that like it wasn't the physical pain more than the emotion and mental health that really dragged on him quite a bit. So, in other words, it kind of dragged him down. He's saying that it challenged him mentally, was the harder than the physical. He was aware that he was going to pass, but he kind of felt like misleaded, almost like he had, oh, that's what I hear him yelling out, false hope. He absolutely felt like he had false hope. False hope was given to him, and so there's a little bit of anger, but not like big. And he says that he wants to say this: he was someone who believed that life was for the taking. And I feel like this is a reminder we're all getting from the spirit world about embracing our lives. He believed in the idea of connection and love and things like this, meaning like sometimes he followed his emotions too much. Like he kind of shows me that he spent his life kind of chasing the dragon. You know what I mean? Like he wanted it to always be magical. He wanted to always be like feel good, like regular life stuff. Yes, that sounds like him. Okay, thank you, Jessica. Regular life stuff, you know what I mean? Like when he was just dealing with the mundane world and having to get the things you have to get done in life really seemed like a drag to him, and it was difficult. And he says the one thing he's learned since he passed is that he was right to feel that way, that life isn't made up of errands and checklists, and this is what he wants to remind you of. He kind of feels hippie-ish to me. Does that make any sense to you, Jessica? Because, and if anyone's tuning in, I'm doing a reading. I'm reading Jessica's his father who had passed. Does that make any sense? Because he feels kind of on. That's the first feeling I got from him is almost kind of like a hippie vibe. Um, and he also saying that what was disappointing to him about the time he was leaving this world, and I kind of feel like I'm sick because he's showing me that he felt like he got very frail, very thin. Um, he's just showing me feeling very frail, like feeling like he watched the life go out of himself. And the one thing he says that's difficult when you're sick, because he's showing me him sick, and I don't know if it was mental health or physical health, but either way, it affected him. That when he was in the state, it just made him really miss just feeling good. Not a traditional hippie. He did play a guitar and was spiritual. Yeah, that's what I feel. That's what I mean. Oh, he just has a very sensitive spirit. So what he's saying is that he was right about is that you need to embrace life and not live your life only hustling. Let me tell you something. The thing about what I do is that when I do this, it's not just for you guys. They're talking to me too. They're like, "Listen, Adela, and listen, everybody, and listen, Jessica, you can't just live your life just hustling all the time. Like it can't just be like a constant hustle. And you have to find a way to enjoy and embrace life." And he said that when he got sick, it just kind of became harder and harder to do that. Um, And he's saying, because for him, life was really feeling everything and experiencing everything. Um, it wasn't just being alive physically. Now, I got that, Fontaine, thank you. What I want you to know, what's really important, Jessica, that he really enjoyed being a father, and he enjoyed the idea of nurturing another soul and bringing that soul, yeah, it's like he really enjoyed it, but it was kinda scary for him. Yes, my dad got very sick suddenly. I believe he had false hope after a really successful round of chemo. Yeah, that's what I felt. He wants you to know that what he has found since he died is that the world moves on, meaning this world. He says the earth still turns, but most importantly, you still live. And how you live is through the heart and through the spirit. And I am growing and I'm learning. And he's 20 years old again. He wants to, I need this message. He says, I'm learning and I'm growing. He said, but if you don't embrace those moments, you pretty much are missing life. He says, what he wasn't surprised, he felt like he was right about. Like he wasn't like going like, wow. He's like, no, this is what I felt when I was alive. And then when I died, I found out I was right. What I was right about is that life is about the moments that you are feeling love and the moments that you are feeling anything. And it's those in between the big things. He says it's not about the big things. Definitely a theme today from the loved ones, right, Lolita? He says it's not about the big things. It's not about achieving the big things. It's about the in between. And achieving the big things are good and you should want to do them. He says this, but he says, kind of look at it like it's the marshmallow between the the graham cracker and the chocolate. He said, no, it's the chocolate and the marshmallow between the graham cracker. He says the big things are the graham cracker. It does hold everything together. But the sweetness and the joy of life is the chocolate. And he's showing me camping and a campfire. I don't know if that means anything to you. And he's saying, that's what you look for. He goes, who wants to just eat plain old graham crackers? Like, he says, maybe there are some people, he goes, but he's not one of them. And he feels like you shouldn't be either, Jessica. Wow. I mean, that was helpful for me. You see why I learn something? And trust me, don't think that when I do readings that they're not staring me down like, and you need to know this too, girl. Like, 'cause because I talk to the other side all the time, and I'll say things like, yes, he owned a camp. Oh my God. Jessica, can you screenshot that? No one believes me. Do you know how hard it's doing this work? No one believes me. I just feel like I wanted to cry. It was just validating for me, always on point, and just so touching for you. It's just the whole thing. I just appreciate it. Yes, he owned a camp. We loved having s'mores at the campfire. Yeah. Yeah, because let me tell you how many times I've been camping, Jessica. 0. I just can't. I've never been camping. He loves sweets, and I totally would see him trying to help everyone here. Yeah. It's just, like, really touching. It's This work is just a very hard path, and he liked to dad everyone, yes, and he's, like, talking to me as well because a lot of times I'm like, "Is anyone listening to this?" Thank you, thank you. Is anyone listening? I could feel his gentleness. So he's like a very big kiss to you, huge amounts of hugs, and he says, "I haven't disappeared. I am still here. I am still your father. I just don't have that." He calls it dangly body. I don't know if he was gangly or dangly. Um, and that he has always loved the journey of life, and everyone needs to be reminded of that. As hard as it can be, it's the in between. You're welcome. I needed to hear, right? I need to hear that too. I needed to hear that too. Thank you. And I'll thank him if you don't mind. I'll thank him off off camera. I'll give a little salute, thank you to your father. Believe me, sometimes I do that, guy, everyone. I hope everyone's okay. Sometimes I talk to your people. I'm like, that was really cool what you said today. I appreciate that. Amazing. Thank you. Wow, that s'mores by the campfire validation gave me chills. It did me too. That was awesome. That really did feel like him. Thank you so much. Yes, we are listening and I need your perspective, all this stuff. I appreciate it because sometimes, you know, I just don't know. The people who always remind me that this is what I should do is the other side. He told me a lot of those things in life too. It's just really beautiful. We all needed that, Jessica. Thank you. So you felt drawn. That was your dad making you go, listen, I need to talk to you. And he also needed to say some things to all of us. And I appreciate, thank you, Jessica's dad. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, before we go to Fontaine, does anybody have any other comments or questions about spiritual stuff, paranormal stuff, or anything as we get ready? Fontaine is doing a medium reading as well. A lot of medium readings today. I mean, it does say Adela the House Medium, so yeah. Whew. I'm gonna get my oil up here and just put a little bit of that because I don't know. I almost feel like anointment of energy. Ooh, it just feels really good. That was such a nice vibe. Just beautiful, 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 beautiful. I have questions, but do Fontaine first. It may be long unless you need a break. Well, I'm not going to answer long questions, to be honest. This is like a live, and I'll answer like short little questions and longer questions. I reserve to either a private reading, meaning like people want to get longer questions about spiritual, or I have a bunch of videos. But if you have like a quick question, I don't mind answering, meaning like I'm not going to get too deep. Good experience. I might have to do a full reading someday. Thank you again. I will let you help others now. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. What's your question, Catherine? Um, and as we wait for that, let's go to Fontaine. And Fontaine, you're getting a medium reading. Who would you like me to connect you with? Um, I can read anybody in your life as long as you know information. You don't have to know that person. Um, but you do have to know about them and you need to know information about them so we can get those confirmations. But no, you did not have to know that person in life, but if you know about how they died or things about them that they're going to tell me, that's all I need. Okay? Stepdad for Fontaine. Okay. Okay, so sorry. I probably look totally nuts, but immediately I just get humor from him. And immediately his humor is like, well, that's a tough act to follow. Sorry. That's what I heard. He's got like kind of a little bit sarcastic type of humor. Um, and he just kind of like waltzed right into it. Uh, very, very good heartedly. His passing, and so by the way, I always start my readings with how the person passed. Yes. And his passing, he said, I knew it was going to, this is what he says. I knew it. It happened. It's done. He's very like direct to the point. I knew it. It happened. It's done. I knew it was coming. I died, I knew it was coming, like this was going to happen. Then I died. So there's no big shock to this for him. He wasn't surprised. He's saying that for him, it kind of felt like um, pulling a band-aid off, meaning like he felt like he was in pain for some time. Things were kind of festering, and that his passing was just like, okay, just time to go. So he keeps talking about almost like his bones hurt. Um, sorry. When like your bone, like like where you get achy and all of you are is super achy. Like he felt like that achy feeling, and he could tell it was never going to go away. He's also saying that for him, it kind of felt like everything started shutting down. And that's why he said, I knew it was going to happen and then it was done. I just knew I was shutting down and then I died. And he wants to move on from there, moving on from there, because I was her stepdad, but I'm also her dad. To him, he kind of took that role pretty seriously. I feel like he's talking about being very strong-willed and strong-minded. Um, he's also saying to you, thank you for understanding that it wasn't always easy. It's almost like he took this role on and he took it very seriously, but it wasn't an easy role for him a lot of the time, like, stepping into the family, I guess. Hold on. He's also saying he keeps talking about his arm, like he keeps joking, like saying my pitcher's arm, like how someone's like in baseball or something or into baseball. He's saying my pitcher's arm didn't wouldn't work. It is like a feeling. He felt like he started to kind of wither, and as he started to wither, it made him less excited to fight any longer, to be here. So I don't know if this makes any sense to you. He's also saying something about um, my mom played baseball every day. Your mom? Let's just applaud the mom for hearing a mom, because we don't hear that very often. Yay for the ladies. Your mom played baseball every day? Did he play with her? And where I have so many questions. Where was your mom playing baseball? Like baseball, not softball that they put onto it. Listen, I'm only saying I am not making fun of anyone who plays softball, because I am not athletic at all. So I'd be playing softball. I think he felt a little left out. Oh, okay. So he's saying that when he came into your mom's life, he took the role as stepdad very seriously, and that he felt like you made it easier. I got you, Catherine. You made it easier for him, if that makes sense. She was on a co-ed team, a women's team, and managed a men's team. What? Well, I did hit that. Can I say this? I did hit that ball out of the park, right? By saying baseball. Cheesy, Adela, but works. Okay. Yeah. I got you, Catherine. Yeah, okay. So she was okay. I'm just like thrown off. I'm like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So that was just like, please do not gift me on that. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on, Fontaine. Good for her. Good for her. Okay. He's saying, can you verify anything? He's talking about taking his role very seriously as a stepdad. He's saying that his role as a stepdad, he took very seriously. And he felt like you made it easy for him. He just wants to say to you that you were just an easy kid. You're just an easy person in general, I guess. Like he's saying that he felt like you made it feel easier than most people experience. And even part of the attraction of your mom would has something to do with you. He's talking about the two of you having in common, like, what you guys liked in common, kind of similar type of connection. But he does kind of regret that he didn't say enough to you about it or didn't express to you, or almost like he wished he thanked you for just making his life more interesting. Yes, he's married a woman with 4 daughters and a grandkid. I was the youngest and he felt like my dad. Yeah, he loved it. Like, it was an attraction. You know how some people say, "Oh, I want a family. I want a big family." I can feel it. He's very grounded. He's very much in his body. He was very not scared of hard work. He wasn't scared of things that were difficult. Um, yeah, it just feels extremely positive. He's saying to you, thank you so much for always making it fun, making it interesting, making his life fun, making his life interesting. Um, Hold on. He's talking about moonshine. What is moon? What moonshine? Moonshine. Why did I just want to say moonshine? Moonshine is what you drink. He's joking about the moonshine. He's showing me horses. Was he a country guy? Um, yeah, just kind of like showing me like, oh, and he's also saying enjoy the outdoors. You're having a hard time, you've been stressing, you've been having a lot of stress. And his family always joked I changed my name after he died to his name to honor him. Oh, I can feel that. I can feel that. Anyway, I just have to get this out because he's saying to you that you've been stressed a lot, you've been under a lot of stress. He says, when you feel that way, go into the outdoors. Um, oh, okay, I got you, Mika. Go into the outdoors. Go into nature. Cows grew up on a dairy farm. What? Bing. I mean, I don't want to be a jerk, but thanks, Dad. Thank you for the confirmations. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Just cool. Okay, so lastly, that's what he wants to leave with you. He says, when, and this is for everybody, his advice, but he happens to know his daughter very well. And for his daughter, he says, this is what will help you. Go in, be with the animals, be with nature. When you're feeling stress, ground. He's talking about remember to stay grounded, meaning like let the earth be your guide. This is what he's saying, and let yourself empty all your stress into the earth. He says, I have a different message for you and for everyone than the messages that we've been hearing today. And his message is this. He's saying that you're never going to 100% know what you're doing. You just aren't. We all have winged it. All of us. Your parents, your grandparents. He says the one thing he's learned from being on the other side is that no one really knows what they're doing. They wing it, they learn from the mistakes, they go on. He goes, and mistakes aren't really mistakes unless you are purposely trying to mess something up or hurt someone. He says it's just life, and that you sometimes hit the ball out of the park and sometimes you don't. Go staying on that theme. So he says, remember that. Remember that you don't have to feel like you know what you're doing, and that if you slide downhill sometimes and you feel like you're not sure if that was the right decision or not the right decision, that you're in very good company. And he says, by the way, since he died, which he was surprised to learn that he was going to communicate with so many people on the other side that were not his family and learn and grow, everyone pretty much says the same thing. Wow, if I wish I knew that we all kind of were in the same boat, that we all don't really know what we're doing. We're just trying to go along with life and do the best we can as we go. That's the message. All right, so I got Catherine, I got Nika, and then I just got TB. You're on the list. Wow. These dads today, I know. I think I'm going to have to talk to my dad on the other side after this. You're welcome, Fontaine. Okay. Whew. That was a good one. Okay, let's go to Catherine. All right, Catherine, you are up. Catherine, you want to speak to my cousin Jeff, want to know it was very unclear and someone possibly lied about it. Well, I will see what he has to say. Preferably for the future, I don't like to know the backstory of anything because I don't want it to influence me. Thank you. Right. Thank you. You're welcome, Lolita. But totally fine. No, it's more for your experience, not really for me. But I will absolutely be asking those questions for you, okay? So let's see what he has to say. I'm just checking to make sure I have everybody. Pretty sure I do. So just so everybody knows, the order goes as of now is Catherine, and then after Catherine is Nika, and then after Nika is Tanaya. Okay. All right, Catherine, let's go. Your cousin Jeff. Okay. And I don't need a name for future reference. The only reason why I teach you guys this because the less information you give, the better. That last message was awesome and needed. Okay. So another sense of humor from your cousin is, oh, I look like a rolling in mess after and all of a sudden, okay, so this is what he says. He goes, I look like a rolling mess, but he wants to jump right in. He's saying, I want to talk about the fair. And because I have a corn dog I'm eating, he's showing me like a Ferris wheel and all that. He's saying, I want to talk about the fair, something about the fair. It kind of reminds me of like, oh, it kind of reminds me of like when you're at like a pier, like, like a pier or fair. Okay, yes. Okay. So he's saying that things got out of hand, things were difficult. He's saying, the reason why I feel like a rolling in like a mess is because he says, I was a mess myself. I was kind of, I feel like he's showing me that he was struggling with some kind of substances or something. And that he's saying that he kind of felt like he was a mess and he wasn't having his life together. Things weren't moving in a really good direction. Um, However, he says he takes responsibility for his passing, or at least part of the responsibility. I was involved in things and people I shouldn't have been involved in, and people I shouldn't have involved in. But he is clearly pointing to himself. Did he OD or something? Because he's showing me him kind of spazzing out and kind of feeling like everything was just kind of crazy or something. Because he kind of liked this life and he wants to apologize, but he liked this life, and that's kind of what happened, that he didn't exactly reject that lifestyle. So he's not showing me anything like no gunshot was crazy ending, right? But it looks like the lifestyle he was living had brought him there. Not sure if him or someone else. Not sure if he shot himself, or that he, let's just say, harmed himself, or yeah, it wasn't somebody else. Like you think someone lied and that he did it to himself and you think someone was it the first. Yeah. So I always like to say to remember that when people, unlive themselves, um, I always like to give the prevention on that. And he has something else he wants to add to that. Yeah, because he was showing me him kind of honestly like really, really struggling and kind of like extremely I want to say chaotic and kind of living kind of in a underground kind of, darker type of life. Remember that the prevention is 988. I just always like to post this because this is the hotline. If anybody is suffering from any kind of mental health issues and feel like you want to unlive yourself, this is the new hotline. Okay. Yeah, so he wants you to know. He was struggling, very chaotic, you're explaining it perfectly. Thank you for posting the hotline. Always. I always do. I'm always do. And I just want to lastly convey this to you, Catherine. When people unlive themselves, they do not get punished on the other side. They get help, they get love and compassion. And he said, for me, I can't, as soon as I passed, I knew as soon as I died, I knew I died. And then I got immediately like, oh, where am I supposed to go? And there was just a flood of love and compassion. But he was resistant to it at first because he felt like he didn't deserve it. And then he was told, like, no, here, it's not like what people told you on in life. We help you. So it's almost like going to like what they always describe it to me as like a rehab for the spirit. And so he says, I've gone to this rehab, I'm working those things out. And he says, thank you so much. I mean, he's not doing this, but he's giving hugs and kisses. Thank you so much for understanding him and caring about him and being the one person who really didn't turn on him. Yeah, and this is a consistent thing I hear from the other side. When people unlive themselves, they are treated with healing and they are given healing and they are given help. It's almost like a rehab that they go into for the spirit. His message for everyone is this. He says, when you have a mental health issue or someone in your life has a mental health issue, know that if they are resisting help, it is not for you to take the blame. And that when someone if someone's resisting help, but he says that for him, it was kind of a chemical imbalance and he could only speak for himself. His was a chemical imbalance. It wasn't like he just one day flipped out. It was something he struggled with for some time. He says, I don't have a lot to bring like the other gentleman. The only thing he can bring to people is to know um, love exists for everyone um, who is not putting evil on others. So he says, love here is light, and the light is for everyone who is not enjoying putting harm onto others. That's all he wants to say about that. Okay, Catherine, I hope that helped. We're going to move to Nika. Any questions in between? Any questions about anything in between? Lovely. Thank you. Love here is light. Yeah. Um, that is always what the light is. The light is about love, and love is more about the concept that non-judgmental. It's the opposite of what we're taught in the divide, meaning like we're so obsessed with the divide of each other. Nika, I want to get to the point in my business where I can wean off my hospital jobs. What is the best actions I can get and take it to get me there if it is even a possibility? I'm so glad you asked this because I've been watching you and I've been like, I want her to know. Okay, so I'm going to tell you. I already know because I know Nika. She's taken a lot of my classes, quite a bit of them, and she's come to a lot of my stuff online. And I feel, even though it's been online, I feel like I know her. And I've been, I follow you via the gram. And I'm going to tell you. This is what I feel. My feeling when I see things is that you have to treat this like this is your job and the others are just a paycheck, meaning this is your career. So when you approach this business like this is my career and anything else I'm doing is just funneling into my career, that is not your job. This is your main job. So that's one. Okay. That's one. The one thing is, this is what I do. This is my true passion. And the other thing that I'm doing is only helping me funnel money into what I do. Secondly, it's putting yourself out there, meaning you have to be present. You have to push yourself forward. You're very afraid of pushing yourself forward. All your energy feels more pulled in. And when I see you, and I mean see you just like see you have to push your energy out. You have to push yourself out ahead of the product. It's not just about the product. You sell it. So it's like you kind of are hiding yourself a lot. Lastly, it looks like it's your this is on a tangible monetarily, like for your business note. What I see is that you have to approach this business you're doing like an experience. Because I'm assuming you're talking about the beignets, right? And if you're not, then it refers to anything. So I feel like what is happening is that you are thinking the beignets are what is selling, and you are not realizing that it needs to be you. It needs to be you putting yourself out there, showing your personality, incorporating your spiritual part self into it. Meaning, like, let's say you have that and you're like, oh, here's a lavender latte. I'm not saying you're making lattes. I'm a coffee person, so I'm using it as an example. This is good for the spirit. This is good for the soul. It's like you have to see this as like an all around experience, not just what you're selling, and you're part of the experience. I feel like your face should be out there or on things. And then you can incorporate the spiritual aspect into it. That's my vision with the business. I want it to be experience, not just product, right? But you are not creating that, and you need to do that online as well, meaning like you're not creating it, like it's not seen as that. You're focusing, this is how I see it, you're focusing on the product, and part of the experience is Nika, meaning like feeling your energy behind it. Let people feel you, let people see you, let people kind of know you. I don't mean personally. You don't have to put all of your personal stuff on blast. You do not. You don't have to say, oh, this is what I ate today, this is what I wear today. You're not trying to be an influencer. You actually have a business. But people connect to people as much as they connect to the product. Marcus Fabra, I just saw that your IG story that you're live now. Are you still doing donation basis for readings? Yes, but they're $15 for an intuitive reading and $20 for a medium reading, and Venmo or PayPal. And anyway, Nika, I want people to feel like it's Disneyland and families to be excited to take their families there for memories. Yes, but why does it feel like you're not putting yourself out there? If it's Disneyland, then you're Walt. Mm, hello, is this mic on? If it's Disneyland, then you're Walt, because I'm telling you, that's how you first pull people in. People have to feel and see you. You see what I mean? I think this is a mistake a lot of people do, is people put out, even with what I do, if I'm just only putting like posters up and things like that. What is this? Oh, this is a mom thing. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Live on YouTube. Sorry. Sorry about that. You understand, Nika. Sorry, mother. I just get nervous, but I see much magic with this and I don't want to hinder it. Right. But what hinders it, like even with what I do, if I just put posters up, if I just put only posters, this is what I'm doing, guys, what I'm doing, guys, and never have myself as a presence, like people want to feel the person. They want to feel like especially if they're not familiar, they want to feel it, like who is this and whether, and then they feel you, then they see what you do. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't just like go, oh, I do readings. People have to feel me. Understandable. Mom, things come up all the time. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say something more. Hold on. So yeah, so people feel like if you kind of put yourself out there and they feel your energy, then they feel like, okay, if I feel your energy, then I feel comfortable, like, with what you're doing. Then they kind of come in through to the experience through you. Okay? That's what's lacking. I'm so glad you asked, because so many times I've like going, how come she's not putting it more out there? Like you need to like create whatever the title of your business is, and that, right? Like imagine, would you guys want to get a reading from me if I just put posters up? So I do readings. Here it is. Here's the poster. Here's the poster on Instagram. Here it is. Here's my readings. 3.99. No. Here it is. Here's a picture of an elephant. Here's me doing readings, right? It's not going to feel good. People are going to be like, I don't know. I don't really connect to this person. People have to feel connected, especially when they're not sure what this is about, especially now, because there's so much stuff out there, so many options out there, that it has to feel personable. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to go with TB and then Marcus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's just like I think people, there's so much stuff out there that if it doesn't feel, I need to know what's different about you. What can I feel about you? Honestly, today's world, especially online, there's so much being offered that as soon as I click on something, and if I can't see who the person is or what they're about, I'm not interested in really like buying from them. Because then I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, who is this person? TB, I like to visit with my mom. Okay, so we're going to read TB and then Marcus. And then honestly, guys, because I have something I have to get ready for mom wise. My internet is terrible. I got it on track. Just family 20. Huge fan of you and your contributions. Feel the most drawn to your practices. Echo ethos in my building, my inner voice. Awesome. Okay, cool, Marcos. I appreciate that. Okay, so Marcus, I'm going to get to you after TB, and then I got to wrap it up because I do have mom obligations that I need to get to, and I need to eat before that so I don't faint. Okay. All right, let's get to TB visiting with your mom. So with TB, with Tanaya, she's connected with her mom before. So I appreciate everybody who came on the live before, because after I do Tanaya and I do Marcus and I have to sign off, remember I have all the things on my website. You can book a private reading with me. If you're on my Patreon, you can join. It's $5 a month and you get 35% off my readings. But also, I have a bunch of classes on telepathic communication. I have a play date, psychic play date happening on Saturday. And I have a class coming up that's going to be for boundaries protection and doing candle magic and oils, and also manipulating energy. All right, Tanaya, let's get to your mom. I've read Tanaya's mom a few times, so I don't need to go through how she passed. I'm just going to dive right into whatever she has to say to me. The first thing I hear is that she's like breathing almost like Okay. I need to tell her, you are doing phenomenal. You have surpassed anything that she felt like she would have been able to do in this life. She has grown into a much more lighter being. She goes, I feel like I'm light years away from where I started when I first came here, before I first passed, before I came into this world that she's in now. She says, what she wants you to know that your self criticism is come from her and it is nothing to do with you. She's saying that she she didn't feel like she was able to give you the foundation that you really needed in this world, and you've had to rebuild your own foundation yourself. You've had to rebuild your own understanding of relationships yourself. She said, I felt like I was a wild animal that was just kind of, trying to survive and protect my children in a very not careful way. So sometimes it came off harsh and sometimes it came off sloppy and difficult, but that is not what she meant. She just felt like she was out in a world. That's why she's saying, like, how they say, welcome to the jungle, like you're battling, you know, people and things to survive. She was surviving. And she says because of that, um, that she felt like she didn't really give you the loving connection that she wished that she could have been able to give. But she wants you to say, you have to lay down the past. I mean, she wants to say, Tanaya, lay the past down. Lay it down. Let it down. You're grown, you have control over your future and the way you want it to be, and it is light years away. She's so excited to see all the things that you've been doing and all that you've been managing to bring into your life. She says you are living, and when you visit the past, when you go over the past over and over, trying to understand it, meaning the childhood, um, you drag yourself back down into that energy. She says she's not saying that you shouldn't understand what happened or look. She's not talking about looking at things. She's saying don't drop into that energy. Move forward, learn from my mistakes, and be different, which you are. Hello, is this mic on? Marcos, I'll get to you, Marcos. Let me finish. Tanaya, you want to speak to your great uncle, grandfather on my dad's side? Uncle, grandfather. I don't know what that means. What's a great uncle? I only could speak to one person. Yes, I know. Caught this right in time. Thank you for everything. You are so incredible. I appreciate you so much. I'm on your Patreon, and you are my number one resource. Oh, I so appreciate. Thank you, Marcos. That just means a lot to me. What do you have to say? Do you think about the past too much? However, did you hear her apologies, Tanaya? Her acknowledgement. Now, here's what people need to understand. When people die, they have to take responsibility and they have to take ownership of the things they did in this world and how it affected people. And if you want to know the number one reason why they try to get a hold of the living, is to tell you that, is to tell you what they've learned, because they have a very clear picture once they pass. Oh, that's how I affected them. Oh, that's how it made them feel. Okay, well, God, I need to like get a hold of them and let them know. Okay, I do need to quickly do I need to quickly get to my next read. I know she's grown since she's passed, but this is like more than she has completely, way more Tanaya than in the past. I do need to get to Marcos's quickly because I have something I have to do today after this, and I need to get going for that. I'm realizing. But I hope I've talked to Tanaya several times. I know she knows. I hope this helped you to understand that you got to focus on you and you got to let go of trying to figure out her and your relationship with her. And doing more what's best for you. So Marcos, I'm kind of confused. This is your uncle, grandfather. I didn't understand. But you understand her message, Tanaya? That was helpful. Okay, I'm glad. Where did so Marcos, I don't understand your grandfather, great uncle, grandfather. I don't understand what that means. How could it be an uncle and a grandfather? He's the same. He's the same. By blood, he's my great uncle, but I call him grandpa. Okay. All right. So hold on. So the first thing, yes, I have to get to the business of living, enjoying the chocolate and the marshmallows. Yes. Yeah. Very good. Okay, this is the first thing I feel from him, Marcos, is he's saying like he's just kind of laughing and he's saying, so death turned out to be exactly what he thought it would be, much more of a joy than not a joy. He says that his death was kind of difficult. He felt like it was rough. He says that physically things were difficult, that he was in pain and he did go through quite a bit of suffering in that kind of way, but he made it through um to the other side literally, and he was fine with it. He wanted to go, he was ready to go. It was just too much. He kept talking about like a burning sensation, like in his chest. He felt like a burning sensation, and that pain would come and go until it took his life. That's how he's describing it. He was ready to leave this plane. It was just time. He wants to thank you for you know, being such a strong part of his life. He felt like when he his connection to you to him felt more like a um he's my granddad technically, but I call him grandpa. Okay, grandpa. Sorry. So your grandfather keeps saying um he's saying that his connection with you kind of felt like he was taking almost like a mentor, mentoring you and putting you under his wing. He says, I was not a perfect man by any means. So I don't know. I feel like he's talking about drinking, to be honest. And he's showing me him drinking, and he's talking about kind of almost like his heart burning. I don't know, or his chest burning. So this is where Marcos, you would kind of like validate or verify, what I'm saying to you, if it makes any sense. He's also saying that like he felt like good riddance when he left this world because he just did not want to be in this body anymore. It was very difficult. He hopes that he taught you something about fishing, something about fish, and he hopes he taught you how to get things for yourself and not to feel like you had to rely on other people. And he says to remember when you rely on other people to get you where you want to go, it always is going to slow you down. He doesn't mean like have people, he says, let people help you, let people be kind to you, let people be your friend, but you can't rely on others to get you where you go. This is for everyone to know. This is for you to know. You can't rely on others to get you where you want to go. For him, he kind of had a rough life. Things were kind of rough for him in his life. He felt like he was always kind of on the hustle, always struggling, but that's okay. He's not complaining about it. But he is saying that it kind of brought him to his end. That kind of rough struggle, he feels kind of led him to his death. He also just kind of flashed to like dancing and singing and saying something about like, don't forget him in September, something about the month of September, and that, he's showing me him dancing and celebrating, and don't forget him there. Does it make any sense to you? It would be really helpful because I need to know if this makes any sense to you so that I can like keep going. And these are very short readings, so I do, like I said, realizing the time is creeping up on me and I have to get going. So I just want to make sure this is confirming. If you can't confirm here, then you'll have to message me or something. So I'll just keep going and hopefully this makes sense. But he's talking about For him, he never really saw that he was him. I was really young and not ringing a bell. You were really young for, oh, you don't know these things about him then? Okay. So the important thing when I do a medium reading is that if you can confirm the things, and if you don't know those things, then maybe ask someone. And like I said, maybe let me know, because you may not know these things about him. A lot of times, kids, those things are hidden, what is really going on with someone. So if you're really young, then maybe get those confirmations from someone else. But for the most part, it's almost like he's surprised that he's saying that, no, opposite. He's not surprised. He's saying that death is definitely feels good to him. He feel meaning like it was a lot of full of love, and he kind of expected that. Like he wasn't expecting it to be scary. He wasn't scared to die. I guess that's the thing. And that's the thing, is you may not know these things because you were young. So I would ask and check with people. I don't know if September rings a bell. He's talking about celebration, and he's showing me like that some positive thing happening in September, and to remember him at this gathering. But like I said, I kind of need people to confirm things like quickly, so I know if this makes sense. And I do have to get going. So if you go ahead and message me, and let me know if any of those things make sense. Maybe check with your family and people who are older. The thing about medium readings is that confirmations are important. So if people don't know these things, then it makes it a little difficult to know if this makes confirm. Since you were so young, it sounds like you don't know a lot. Some of it's quite vague and unfamiliar. I was young and not hearing much. What's quite vague and unfamiliar? But that's what I'm saying, like, how much would you know about him? So, the things I just told you are not vague. He's being very specific, about how he felt. Um, and, I've said a couple of times about the September thing, which is a detail thing. No, but some feels like, "Oh, okay, I feel like yes." Okay, find out, because confirmation is important for you. Definitely, and definitely for me too. So ask people who knew him. So just so everyone knows, when you get a medium reading, I like people to know a lot more about the person, because otherwise it doesn't resonate with you if you don't know about them. It sounds like you had a nice connection with him, like he was your grandfather, but you don't know a lot about who he was as a person. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, so just so everybody, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody as I leave, because his death feels right in that, right? Okay, well, let me know, find out. Always get confirmation. I do have to go because I have something I have to do. Right after this, and I just realized I really pushed the time. So this is what happens. I lose track of time, totally forget like all my things. Thank you guys so much. All my things are online. Let me know, Marcus. You can let me know on my Patreon. Just let me know on my Patreon. Just like message me on there and go like, oh, yo, I found this out, found that out. I'm telling you, it will make you feel better, because when you get the confirmations, it also helps you connect to the person as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys for joining me. Please pass this on. Um, I just got here, but thanks again for letting me participate in the podcast. You're welcome. Have a great evening, Adele. Thank you for your time. You're appreciated. Thank you, 10,000 beyond. I'll message you on the other confirmations I had in mind. I'm not going to continue reading, Marcos. So don't message me the confirmations you had in mind. You can't have in mind, just so everyone knows, you can't go on a reading going, these are the confirmations I have to believe it. If you do that, then you're staying close to the experience. It's up to the spirit to decide what they want to talk to about, not up to me. So when you go into it like, oh, these are the ones I have to know, it kind of keeps it very closed. So in other words, he has things he wants to say, and if you got to be open to that. I won't continue the reading in the Patreon, just check at all. But if you check with your parents about the things that I said and you want to confirm with me, that's fine. But I won't continue to read in the Patreon. Just so everyone knows, when I do a reading, I do the reading and I'm done. I don't continue the reading, especially because I'm doing this at a very, like, not my normal what what I do. Okay, thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to your voice, and I'll see you soon.